Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're going to dive into what is, without a doubt, the most powerful and sophisticated piece of technology ever made.
So, let me just kick things off with a question for you. What do you think is the most powerful computer on the entire planet? I mean, is it hidden away in some secret government lab? Or maybe it's humming away in a server farm at a big university?
Well, the answer is actually a lot closer to home than you might think. In fact, you're carrying it around on your shoulders right this very second. Yep, you guessed it. It's the human brain. And for the next few minutes, we're going to explore it for exactly what it is, a personal supercomputer. All right, so let's get into it. You know, every great computer has a spec sheet, right? So let's pop the hood and check out the specs on this incredible machine.
First up, let's talk about the hardware itself. The average human brain, it weighs about 1.4 kilograms, or just around 3 pounds. That's it. I mean, think about that. For all the unbelievable power packed inside, it's amazingly compact and lightweight. And you know, the processing power here doesn't come from silicon chips. No. It comes from an estimated, get this, 86 billion tiny little nerve cells. We call them neurons. And these are the fundamental building blocks of literally every thought, every feeling, and every action you'll ever have.
So let's take a closer look at that hardware. We can basically break the brain down into 3 main parts, and each one has a really specific, really important job to do.
Okay, first up, you've got the cerebrum. This is the big kahuna, the main event. You can think of it as your brain's CPU, its central processing unit. It's the largest part, and it does all the heavy lifting. We're talking thinking, memory, emotions, and, any voluntary movement you make.
Then, tucked away at the back, you've got the cerebellum. This little guy is like a specialized motion coprocessor. It's the whole reason you can do things like ride a bike, walk in a straight line, or catch a ball without having to think about every single tiny muscle movement. It's all about that smooth, coordinated action. And finally, we have the brainstem, and this part is absolutely critical. Think of it as the power supply, the life support system for the whole operation. It connects your brain to your spinal cord, and it just runs all those automatic background programs that keep you alive. Breathing, your heartbeat, all the stuff you never, ever have to think about.
So just to recap the hardware real quick, the cerebrum is your main processor. The cerebellum is the motion coprocessor for smooth moves, and the brainstem? That's the power supply that keeps the whole system humming along.
Okay, so having awesome hardware is one thing, but how do all these parts actually talk to each other? Well, that's where the brain's absolutely incredible internal network comes into play.
Remember those neurons we mentioned? Well, this whole network is built from them. They act like biological wiring, zapping these ultra-fast electrical and chemical messages all over your brain and body. It's basically your body's own private internet, and trust me, it is lightning fast. Want to see this network in action? Okay, imagine for a second you touch a hot stove. Instantly, neurons fire off a warning signal. Your brain gets it, processes danger, and immediately fires back a command. Move. The whole thing happens in a split second. You've already pulled your hand away before you even really feel the pain. Now that's the power of your neural network.
All right, so we've covered the hardware and the network. Let's talk about the software, the amazing apps that this supercomputer is running 24/7, a lot of the time without you even noticing.
Just stop and think for a second about what your brain is doing right now. It's processing what you're seeing on the screen, it's processing the sound of my voice, it's managing your thoughts, storing memories. Oh, and it's also running all your vital functions in the background. It's the ultimate multitasking machine for sure.
Let's zoom in on one of the most important apps of all, memory. So your brain really has 2 main types. You've got short-term memory, which is kind of like your computer's RAM. It holds onto a small amount of info that you're focused on right now. And then you have long-term memory. That's your hard drive, storing a massive amount of information, maybe even for your entire life.
So you've got this incredible supercomputer sitting on your shoulders. The obvious next question is, how do you take care of it? How do you maintain it? Well, let's crack open the user manual.
And the great news is that the basic maintenance is actually pretty simple. You know the drill. Healthy food, getting enough sleep, regular exercise. Those are the fundamentals. But if you really want to upgrade your processor, you've got to challenge it, keep learning new things. And you also have to give it some downtime to recharge, with things like relaxation or meditation.
When you boil it all down, it comes back to this one simple but really powerful idea. And this quote just sums it up perfectly. The brain is like a supercomputer that controls everything in your body and helps you think, feel, and act. I mean, it's the command center for your entire life.
And honestly, that brings us to the most exciting part of all. This hardware you've got is capable of, well, almost anything. It can learn a new language, it can master a musical instrument, it can solve some of the world's most complex problems. So really, the only question left to ask is, with this incredible personal supercomputer at your command, what are you going to run next?